It is not that people do not deserve the real guidance. It is that they are usually too stubborn to get out of their own way and listen to a better way for themselves. Paul Twitchell always advised to stay clear of the psychic sciences because they do not lead to real truth, but only keep the people in the cycles of reincarnation and karma. Until a person begins to understand their dream visions, they will be at the mercy of the intellectual world and those who are the slaves of the gods of man. Your Dream Visions, Part 2. I'm going to go over a lot of information as I proceed along and also give a lot of examples. I know at times it will be hard for you as a reader to keep up, but eventually you will catch on to where it is that I'm coming from. You must understand, even if it is just a little bit, that you are now exploring so many more worlds and universes which will be opening up to you. So have fun with this. The real side experiences I just had with Rebizar, and we call it the Dream Vision. It is one of the many fun ones that can occur in anyone's life. This was during an afternoon nap that I came back from surfing, and I went to write on the computer for a little while. Then I went online to a website to look at one of the cars I would be purchasing. The car I want is a Lexus is convertible. After looking over the Lexus website and choosing the car I wanted, which I have done many times before, I went and laid down. I suddenly became aware that I was in a convertible Lexus with Rebizar as he was driving, and then we suddenly pulled up to the Lexus dealer. Rebizar got out of the car and went inside the showroom in front of me. When I entered and went to sit down with him, he was already telling a salesman about the car I wanted and the terms on the real side experience. Rebizar, who acts as the dad, was already making the deal for me, which would soon show up in the physical. As I sat and listened, I could see that the salesman was a bit reluctant with the terms because these guys only like to listen to themselves, as was being demonstrated by the fact that he had on a sweatshirt with a hood on it, where only the front of his face was showing, as his head and ears were covered. In other words, he was sitting there smiling, but was not interested in listening to us, as we were the ones buying the car. The dream visions, for the most part, will always demonstrate something to the dreamer, because even though this is the whole of life providing this gift, it also respects the fact of the free will of the individual to make his own choices, whether they are good for the dreamer or not. So it's best to pay attention, the best that one can, and thoroughly look over what is taking place. I also have friends who act like advisors with me, as I do the same for them, and we share our real side experiences with each other and get many different views about what's taking place, because my only purpose is to provide something wonderful and real on this level and all the levels and positions in life. I am shown what most people will never know. Here is a person's real intent shows up within their own dream visions, as they usually do not recognize it for the longest time, if ever. I would suggest only sharing one's dream visions with those who can be trusted, especially emotionally, because the human part of people has many ways of being immature to the point of being intrusive, rude, and bothersome. A person's dream vision are very important and very personal. I have led my life following the real guidance as I'm shown. While I have been almost all the people I have tried to work with use their literal self, thinking in their own minds that they know what they're doing because they are the educated adults. Of course, there are many positions on the physical level that pertain to what is taking place here. But for a definite overview of any person or situation, the real guides provide the best overview. Life itself and the real guides will provide many attempts in many different ways to show a person what can work out better for them in the long run. But we have to constantly pay attention and want to listen and learn. The biggest barrier for anyone in their own personal conditioned dreams, anything we have created can become an asset once we understand how it all fits into the big picture as merely one of these many pieces, and not trying to make one of the little pieces bigger than it is. On the earth at this time, there are a lot of personalities icons, from business people to religious and political speech makers to the earthly spiritual arena and masters and gurus. All of what is being demonstrated and created is fine, as it is all part of the huge wake-up call for the real you. But of course, the overly developed personal self usually does not recognize this true fact, as it has its own defined agenda, and usually blots out any real guidance that tries to get into his designated consciousness. And so, for those who are sincere and discovering real truth, they should take the time to first read the Adventurers series, those Adventure Is series, and they're wonderful. Then become the new student with the new wave so that they can become free. Don't you think so? Val? Tim?
Yeah, I think I was wondering what it actually takes, how many experiences and how many lifetimes or world periods beings have to go through to make them want to put out their effort or intent to pay attention instead of being still so attracted to all the worldly stuff and spending all their time and attention on all the material things or the love stuff. And it's just amazing that we have this opportunity at the present being given, that we have the new you song, that if a person is sincere and wants to know what's real and wants real guidance and a real education about life, it's being offered as a connection to to sing the song and see what life shows us, what it reveals. And then there's the new books, the Adventure Is series that are available with so much I don't know whether you call it information or guidance and information or hints of about life as it is right now. Because what is it that makes a person want to do anything?
Dwayne has said something's got to turn within an individual for them to start looking at this. And he even mentioned, the other night he mentioned Miss Klemp, the former wife of Master Harry Klemp of the corporation, and she passed over to the real side, and she made a deal with Joan Klemp to basically cover her economic situation for the rest of her life if she remained single and had Joan marry Master Klemp. Joan gets Harry and Margie gets taken care of for the rest of her life. But Dwayne says something. Margie knew a lot. She knew what was going on with the corporation. She could have turned. She could have done something if she had the courage. And she could have been like Joan of Arc, he said, without the sword. I mean, she could have been a huge influence on the rest of the membership so that they could have an opportunity to turn. They could see something more, because sometimes it takes something like this, takes some kind of dramatic experience for somebody to turn. And this would have been, for the members, this would have been a huge look, different look. The former wife of the master singing New You. I mean, that would have been a big opportunity for a lot of the membership to look at this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that something really dramatic has to be in your life. Even as a child, you wonder, how did I get here? What are those stars? You have to have a curiosity about life. Many people don't use their curiosity, their wonder at life. They just kind of don't look at it. Just take it as it comes, and which is really okay. But something has to turn in that person now. There's a bigger picture. There's something out there. What is out there? What's behind the clouds? Is there a man up there that's watching me all the time? I don't like that. Okay, what is out there? You've got to have that drive to find out where the heck is all this going, and why? Is there something else? It's a curiosity. Maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe it's a longing for to find something, find that heaven that everybody keeps talking about. Where is it? Who's got it? What's the path that leads that there? Who am I?
Yeah, it's particular to each person. Some people may get caught up in the meditation or the dogma or the doctrines and be happy there. They would presumably have found the answer. They're self-convinced, and they are happy. Others may need a dramatic experience. Dwayne's daughter was in an automobile accident, and she, after that experience, she converted to Christianity because of that. So it's it's a particular. Each person's different in how they see it and what motivates them and what will bring them around to see more. And because of her situation, she went back to the comfort zone of Christianity. It's pretty safe there, socially accepted. She could have gone and she knew what her father was doing. I'm sure she's read some of the books, and she's seen him because she lived with him. So she could have gone that way as well. But it takes the risk taker, and that means risking losing your restrictions. Basically, most people are happy with their restrictions, and because they're socially acceptable, most of them. So it takes a risk taker to go beyond those agreements you've made with your restrictions into something that's real. And not very many people are willing to do that. But what we're doing with the new presentation, the more we get out there, the more socially recognized we become, the more likely some of these people will get on board and look at what we're doing, because we've got over 2,000 Facebook groups that Dwayne's created. We've got over 700 book titles on Lulu that he's created. We've got Skype. We got 4 Skype calls a week. We've got the same number of Blog Talk radio shows. He's got 9 books out. We've got projects all through the world, humanitarian projects. We've got people living all over the world that are interested in this and doing something to contribute. So more and more as we pick up the pace here, because we are rather, as an organization, as a nonprofit, we're rather young. You'd say we're 5 years old or so. Paul took, look how long, well, it was pretty fast. He got Eckankar going, but he had the membership. There's no membership here, so it's a little bit different how Dwayne set it up. But it's catching on with what we're doing. We're doing it in creative ways. We're getting out there to present this material, the knowledge, and then presenting the new you, the books, and ways for people to contribute so that they can become more aware. It's really very simple, but one has to get past their ideas about it, because a lot of people think that we're a cult or we're this or that, but we're just very real with what we're presenting, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. This life on Earth, and all of us have lived before, whether here or somewhere else, is all part of the passing dream. I would say that by simply paying attention to what's happening here with the so-called time factor and the constant aging of the bodies, that everything here passes and eventually disappears. And so, if this is supposed to be the actual reality, then what about your dream visions? And also the described heavens that is in so many doctrines on this earth. If a person wants to accept what they have read or heard from others who profess to know, that can be fine. But for myself, I want to find out firsthand what's really going on. The whole of life is nowhere to be found except with each of us already. I would say that it's a good idea to get as much knowledge from many different sources as a comparison to the true reality itself. So this becomes a huge journey like nothing else. When we become very patient and learn to live now and identify what is termed as past, present, and future, we can eventually see the subtleness of the creative actions which are constantly occurring with this place in life. Once a person has accepted the real guidance from the real guides, then they are starting their own journey to real freedom and are provided with so much more than any educational system on the earth can ever teach. For me, I like the mystery and the adventure of being surprised with what life will show me, because it is always new and always now. Well, it looks like it's about time to say goodbye for this evening's stories, bedtime stories. I hope that this will bring us more to reality that we can really think about, ponder upon, and ask the guides to show us and do the new you before we sleep.
Tim, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, I guess not.
We can do the new you. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we all do the new you at the same time?
Sure.
And say good night.
Okay.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. See you next
Good night.
time.
Happy dreams.